The office looked different that morning. Maybe it was just you. Maybe it was the fact that your heart had started doing strange things whenever you were around him. You stood in the elevator, clutching your tote bag tightly, watching the numbers climb way too slowly. You were already 5 minutes late, and your brain was running at double speed trying to make excuses. Traffic? No, I walk here. You mumble to yourself. Maybe printer jammed? No, too fake. Oh god, I'm so dead. Ever since that day he told you to stay in his office for supervision, you had practically become a permanent fixture there. He said it was to keep an eye on your work, but at this point, even his secretary Mina stopped questioning it. You don't mind though, because the more time you spent around him, the more you started to understand the man everyone called cold. John Jungkook wasn't cold, he was careful and gentle in ways no one ever got to see. The doors opened and you dashed out, hair slightly messy from the wind. You nearly bumped into Mina, Jungkook's secretary, who just blinked at you, your panicked face. I'm sorry, ma'am. He's in early, she whispered, lips curving into a teasing smirk. Good luck. You gave her a helpless smile and hurried toward his office. You paused outside, took a deep breath, then softly knocked. Come in, came the deep, even voice. You stepped inside, and there he was. Jungkook was standing near the coffee machine, his suit jacket off, sleeves rolled up. The morning light hit the face just right, and for a second you forgot how to breathe. He looked up briefly. You are late. You winced. I know. The elevator, I know. He interrupted, already placing a mug on your side of the desk. You always blame the elevator. You blinked. Wait, how do you? I pay attention. He said, sitting down. You froze mid step. John Jungkook pays attention. You sat down slowly, peeking at the mug. It was your favorite kind sweet, extra milk, a little cinnamon on top. Your lips curved. You made me coffee? He didn't look up. I made coffee. Whether you drink it or not is your choice. You hid your smile behind the mug. Right, just a coincidence. It's exactly how I like it. Must be. He said casually, but there was the tiniest tug at the corner of his mouth. Well, thank you so much. I'm having an honor to have a coffee made by the CEO. He didn't say anything, but you saw his eyes lifted in your direction and stayed for a while before he got back to his work. The rest of the morning passed in quiet focus, the clicking of keys, the occasional buzz of his phone, your soft humming as you worked, everything blended together. But sometimes, when you would glance up, you would catch him already looking at you. He would look away too quickly to seem obvious, but you noticed. After a while, he called your name, Vian. You looked up immediately. Yes, come here. Your brain instantly panicked. Oh no, what did I break this time? Did I send the wrong report? Did I breathe too loudly? You got up and your heart was pounding. Did I do something wrong again? He sighed softly, gesturing at the screen. No, you just formatted the file differently. Sit, I'll show you. You moved closer, standing beside his chair. You could smell his calling, clean, crisp, and something deeper beneath it. He pointed at the monitor, explaining patiently. You tried to focus on his words, but your brain refused to cooperate. When he leaned forward slightly to click something, your fingers brushed his sleeve accidentally. You flinched. Sorry. It's fine, he murmured, eyes still on the screen. You are too jumpy sometimes. Well, maybe because you are you. You blurted before realizing it. He raised a brow. Me? You turned red. I mean, you are my boss, the CEO. People usually tremble when you talk. He chuckled, low and quiet. Do you? You froze. What? Do you tremble when I talk? You blinked rapidly. I don't know. He leaned back, arms crossing, the faintest smirk on his lips. You just did. Your jaw dropped. That's not fair. You caught me off guard. That's part of the fun, he said lightly, eyes glinting with amusement. Your heart jumped once again. Around lunch, Meena knocked and poked her head in. Sir, should I bring your lunch tray in? Jungkook looked up briefly. No need, I'll eat here. Then his eyes shifted to you. You'll stay too, right? You blamed me? Oh no, I packed mine. I'll just. He interrupted. I didn't ask if you packed it. I asked if you'll stay. You hesitated, confused, but nodded. Oh, okay. Mina's brows lifted slightly as she left. You could almost hear her thoughts. Since when does he eat with people? When the lunch arrived, Jungkook pushed one box toward you. This one's yours. You frowned. Wait, you ordered for me? I had a feeling you skipped breakfast again. He said casually, unwrapping his chopsticks. You look pale when you do. You stare at him. You notice that? He didn't look up. I already told you. I pay attention. You tried not to smile, but your heart betrayed you with a little flutter. That small moment between you two should have gone unnoticed, but of course, nothing ever stayed hidden for too long in the office. By lunchtime, the whispers had already started. He walked out to grab a glass of water and immediately noticed the shift. Quiet conversations stopping the second you passed, eyes glancing your way, then quickly pretending to be busy. You ignored it at first, but when your friend from accounting, Mire, waved you over with a grin, you knew something was up. So, she said, leaning closer, her voice playful. How's it going, working directly under Mr. John? You blinked. It's fine. Fine. Girl, the man who once fired an intern for sneezing too loud now lets you sit in his office all day. People are starting to think you have, like, a superpower or something. Your jaw dropped. What? No, he just wants to supervise my work. Supervise, she said slowly, her grin widening. Right, is that what we are calling it now? You rolled your eyes, fighting the smile tugging at your lips. You are ridiculous. Maybe, she said with a shrug, but tell me why he bought you coffee this morning. Everyone saw him. You froze. He did that for everyone. Miri laughed, Ryan. He didn't even let the HR director borrow a pen last week. Be serious. You groaned, hiding your face in your hands. I swear it's nothing like that. He's just being nice. Miri tilted her head, watching your red cheeks. Sure. By the time you walked back to Jungkook's office, you could feel people's eyes following you. It wasn't in a mean way, more like disbelief, like they were seeing something impossible. John Jungkook, the cold CEO, talking softly to someone instead of giving his usual stone-faced. You hesitated but still said, people are starting to talk, you know. He didn't look up. About what? About this. You gestured between you two. Me working here, you making me coffee, you being, not terrifying. He paused, eyes still on the screen. Does it bother you? You hesitated. A little. I don't want people thinking I'm getting special treatment. I already messed up once. I don't want anyone thinking I don't deserve to be here. He leaned back in his chair, finally meeting your eyes. Then let them talk. I don't care what they think. But listen, you work hard, you have improved, and yes, I make you coffee because you forget to drink water half the time. That's not favoritism, that's concern. You blinked, stunned by how casually he said it. Then softly he added, besides, if they are talking, it means they noticed how much you have grown. Your chest warmed. That's one way to see it. He smiled faintly. It's the only way that matters. Before you could respond, there was a knock on the door. Jungkook's gaze shifted. Come in. The glass door slid open and Mina stepped inside, crisp white blouse, tablet in one hand, a polite smile on her face. Mr. John, these are the updated documents for the new project proposal. He nodded, gesturing for her to set them down. You quickly straightened in your chair, pretending to look busy with your screen, even though you couldn't help glancing up. Mina started explaining the project. timelines, budgets, goals, her tone professional but light, like she was used to having his full attention, and usually he would have given it. But not this time, because halfway through his explanation, his eyes flicked toward you. You immediately looked down, pretending to scroll. So the only thing left to finalize is who will lead this one. Do you have someone in mind? There was a pause, a quiet, heavy one. You didn't look up, but you could feel his gaze. The air shifted. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, confident as always, but something in it made your pulse jump. Ryan will lead this project. Your head snapped up. Me? Mina's eyes widened slightly before she masked it with a polite smile. Everyone in the company knew Jungkook's choices were final and they were never wrong. Still, you could sense her surprise. You were new after all. Jungkook leaned back in his chair, expression unreadable. Yes, you. I. Are you sure? You managed, voice a little shaky, his brow lifted slightly. Why? Are you not sure? You blinked, hands gripping your notepad. No, I mean, I just didn't expect. He interrupted gently, tone lower now, eyes steady on you. You have been working under my watch for almost a month, and as far as I observed, he paused, letting the silence stretch. You have become efficient and sufficient enough to lead a project. Your breath caught. He continued, soft but firm. I trust your work. I hope you won't disappoint me. For a second, you couldn't even find words. Mina gave you a small, supportive smile before excusing herself quietly, leaving the two of you in the thick, charged silence that followed. You swallowed hard, forcing yourself to speak. I won't, you said finally, your voice steadier than you expected. I'll do my best. His lips curved slightly, just enough for your heart to trip over itself. Good. You nodded, still trying to process it, still trying to believe what just happened. As Mina's heels faded down the hallway, you sat there, realizing that everyone in the company might have been whispering about you, but none of it compared to this moment. Because this wasn't favoritism, this was trust, and coming from John Jungkook, that meant everything. The news spread faster than a company memo ever could. You didn't even have to tell anyone. By lunch, everyone already knew. Did you hear? She's leading the new project. Mr. John chose her herself. They say she's been working in his office for weeks now. Every whisper followed you down the corridor. Half admiration, half curiosity. You kept your head down, clutching your files, trying to pretend you didn't hear, but you did. Every word. When you returned to Jungkook's office, he was sitting behind his desk, reading a report. He looked up as soon as you entered, like he somehow sensed your unease. Too many whispers? He asked quietly. You hesitated, then sighed. It's fine, people talk. He studied you for a moment, then went back to his laptop. Let them. They'll stop when you prove them wrong. Something about the way he said it, steady, calm, certain, made your chest tighten. Do you really think I can handle it? You asked softly. He didn't look up. I wouldn't have given it to you if I didn't. That was all it took to silence every doubt in your mind. The following week passed in a blur of work, drafts, and sleepless nights. Jungkook stayed late almost every evening, and so did you. Sometimes it was silent, both of you lost in your screens. Other times it was the faint sound of his voice. Don't overthink, he would say, leaning slightly closer. You already know the answer. You would look up, only to find him watching you with that same unreadable expression. Calm but warm, like he saw more in you than you ever gave yourself credit for. One night the office was nearly empty. You were still working, your hair tied loosely, when he appeared beside your desk with two mugs. Coffee break, he said, placing one near your elbow. You smiled softly. You really don't have to keep making it for me. He shrugged, sitting on the edge of your desk. Maybe I want to. You looked at him, really looked, and realized just how much he had changed around you. The man who once spoke in clipped sentences now made coffee. stayed late, and smiled more often. "You are different these days," you murmured. He tilted his head, amused. "Different how?" "You talk more, you smile, you trailed off flustered. You feel more human." He laughed quietly, the sound low and deep. "Maybe you just make me forget I'm supposed to be a machine." You blushed, looking away. "That's not a big bad thing." He leaned closer and spoke in a soft voice. "Not at all." The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was comfortable, like something unspoken was growing quietly between you, too fragile to name just yet. The next day, you caught Mina glancing at you in the hallway, not coldly, just curious, maybe even a little proud. She stopped you before you entered Jungkook's office. "You are doing well," she said sincerely. "I was surprised when he chose you, but now I get it." You smiled shyly. "Thank you." She nodded. "He doesn't trust people easily, so if he trusts you, that says a lot." Those words stayed with you the entire day. That night, while you were finalizing slides, Jungkook leaned back in his chair watching you. "You haven't eaten anything since morning." You didn't even look up. "I'll eat once I'm done." He sighed and disappeared for a few minutes, only to return with takeout boxes. You blinked. "You ordered food?" He opened one casually. "Don't act so shocked. I eat too." You couldn't stop smiling. "But for both of us?" He looked at you, eyes softening. "It's not the first time. We are a team now, aren't we?" That sentence, so simple, hit harder than anything else. Because you realized this wasn't just work anymore. You had become his person, someone he relied on, someone he looked for. And in between the coffee breaks, the quiet smiles, and the late night conversations, you had fallen for him completely. That night, while the city lights glowed through the tall glass windows, Jungkook said quietly, "You know what I like most about you?" You froze, not daring to look up. "What?" "You never give up, even when you are scared." You finally met his gaze. "That's because you are watching." He smiled faintly. "Then I'll keep watching." The big day had arrived. Your heart felt like it was thudding loud enough for the entire building to hear as you stood in front of the mirror in the restroom, straightening your blazer for what felt like the 10th time. Your presentation, your first project, was in less than 15 minutes, and the board members, senior executives, and the clients were all waiting in the conference room. You inhale deeply, muttering to yourself, "You can do this fine. You have worked hard. Jungkook believes in you. You can do this." Still, your palms were cold, your throat dry. When you stepped out, Jungkook was already there, leaning casually against the wall, hands in his pockets. His tie was loose, his expression calm, the exact opposite of you. He looked at you for a moment and his lips twitched. "Breathe," he said softly. You blinked. "How did you know?" "You are gripping your file like it's about to run away," he said with a hint of a smile. You quickly loosened your hold, forcing a nervous laugh. "I'm just a little tense." He tilted his head. "A little?" You sighed. "Okay, a lot." He stepped closer, his voice quiet but firm. "You have done this 100 times with me. You know the data better than anyone in that room. You have earned this wine, so walk in there and show them what I already know." You looked up at him, those words hitting you harder than he probably realized. "Thank you," you whispered. He gave a small smile. "You'll do great." And just before you turned to leave, he added quietly, "I'll be watching." The conference room was full, quiet chatter, clicking pens, the shuffle of papers. You set up your slides, your hands trembling just slightly, and when you looked up, through the glass panel on the side wall, you saw him, Jungkook, standing near the window, arms crossed, watching, not as CEO assessing an employee, but as someone rooting for you. Something in your chest steadied instantly when the first slide came on. Your voice wavered, but only for a moment, then slowly it grew stronger, clearer. You explained, discussed, demonstrated, every word practiced, every point polished, and by the time you reached the final line, the room was silent, then applause. The clients nodded approvingly, exchanging impressed glances. Brilliant execution. Smart approach. I didn't expect this from someone so new. Your eyes darted back to the glass wall. Jungkook was still standing there, but now he was smiling. That small, rare, genuine smile that made his whole face soften. Pride flickered in his eyes, and for a moment, just that moment, everything else faded. After the meeting, people congratulated you non-stop. You smiled, bowed, thanked them, your cheeks already aching, but all you wanted was to see him. So when you finally walked in his office, he was there, hands in his pockets, a small grin tugged at his lips. You stopped at the door. I didn't disappoint you, did I? He shook his head, chuckling softly. Disappoint me? Why, you exceeded every single expectation. Your heart fluttered. Really? He nodded. They loved it. You handled questions perfectly. I have never seen the client so impressed. You bit your lip to stop your smile. You helped me a lot, though. I just guided you. You did everything else. You stepped forward just a little. Still, thank you for trusting me when no one else did. He looked at you for a long moment, his expression unreadable, until he said quietly, "It wasn't trust, Wyan." You blinked. What? It was faith. He took a slow breath. I knew you would do well. I just wanted you to see it too. Your throat tightened. You didn't know what to say. The silence stretched, warm, heavy, full of something you had both kept hidden for too long. Then, almost in a whisper, you said, "You're smiling again." I started to smile from the day when you walked away from this office, determined to prove yourself, even though you hit your knee. Your cheeks burned. You noticed? He smiled. Are you still asking? That made you chuckle. He took one step closer, then another, until the distance between you was barely there. Wyan. He murmured. His tone was quiet, but it held everything he had never said before. You make it really hard to keep pretending. Pretending what? You asked. Your voice was trembling. That I don't feel anything when I look at you. Your breath caught. The world seemed to go still. He searched your eyes for a second, almost like asking for permission, before reaching out, brushing a loose strand of hair behind your ear. Since the day you came into my office all nervous and clumsy, I have been trying to ignore it, but I can't anymore. Your heart raced. You don't have to ignore it. He smiled faintly. No. You shook your head, voice barely above a whisper, because I can't either. And before you could overthink it, you took that last small step forward until his forehead touched yours, both of you breathing the same air, hearts pounding in sync. No words, no fancy declarations, just the quiet truth of two people who finally stopped running from how they felt. Later that evening, as you both walked out of the office together for the first time, the city lights reflected off the glass doors. Jungkook looked at you and smiled, slipping his hand into yours, subtle, easy, like it was always meant to be there. Where to? You asked softly. He glanced down at you. Coffee? You laughed again. He shrugged. It's kind of our thing now. You looked at him, his once cold eyes now soft and warm, and smiled. Yeah, our thing. And that was how it began. The cold CEO who once said he didn't want to see your face again now couldn't imagine a day without it.